question is, are men actually allowed to beat their wives? Is that okay?
Yeah. According to that verse, according to the interpretation for the last 1400 years, even the most liberal scholar will say that is something undeniable in the Quran. They will say even with a miswak, but no one will say that doesn't exist. There are things in Islam which cannot be rationalized unless you look into why Islam is true.
Accepting that that's right. That's what I'm like. I have no issue with accepting that's right. I'm just wondering like what that actually means. I'm just wondering specifically about that verse, like how, like you said, the most liberal interpretation is like, okay, like men can beat their wives in miswak, but like how extreme does it go?
The one who the Quran was revealed to understood it better than anyone, which is the Prophet. How many times did he beat his wife? Never. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the best of you are the best to their wives. Why was the criteria to be the best human being, the best to your wife? Because you can act really nice in front of society, you can act really nice in front of your friends and family, but your real character is only known by your spouse. So Islam doesn't say wife beating's good and do it. This particular verse is for extreme circumstance. The Prophet, peace be upon him, never did it. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he had a woman come to him and the woman wanted to inquire about marriage proposals that she had, the Prophet discouraged her from marrying this guy because he was stingy, this guy because he's a wife beater. So Islam doesn't encourage wife beating. Islam doesn't encourage violence against women. This particular verse has to be understood in that context. And the way I see it is, this particular verse, for most women, men, even liberal men, not men in the past, but liberal men today, it cannot be rationalized. It simply has to be accepted if they go back to where it came from and they look at the context of it. Because there's many things in Islam, sisters, not just this. There's many things in Islam which can make someone leave Islam unless they go back to why Islam is true. So I'll tell you the story of one of my friends. One of my friends converted to Islam and he came from an egalitarian background, a liberal background. He found out that in Islam a woman cannot seek divorce. She can only get khula. She can't say talaq, talaq, talaq and get rid of her husband like the man can. There's an asymmetry there. And what happened was this made him doubt Islam because he's a convert and he was brought up in a liberal feministic sort of way. After marriage, he discovered, actually, I see a wisdom behind this. Whatever wisdom he discovered, he discovered. So sometimes these things are tests from Allah to see whether we believe. And this is why the question always goes back to, why is Islam true?